All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Look, if you follow the tech sector even a little bit, you've definitely heard the endless debates about AI coming for our jobs. But today, we're completely skipping the clickbait and going straight to the hard numbers. We are going to dig into credible research from heavy hitters like MIT and the World Economic Forum to figure out the actual real-world trajectory of the workforce heading into 2026. To put things into perspective right out of the gate, research from MIT and Boston University estimates that AI-driven robotics will replace roughly 2 million manufacturing jobs globally by 2026. And honestly, this isn't science fiction at all. This is a highly calculated projection based on how fast the industrial sector is adopting both physical and software-based automation. We're talking about a massive, literal transfer of human hours directly to machines in just a few short years. And you know, this shift is already totally reflected in the current executive mindset. Right now, 37% of business leaders expect to replace human workers with AI by the close of 2026. Just think about that for a second. More than a third of decision makers aren't just looking at AI as a cute little sidekick for their teams. They're actively baking it into their budgets as a direct substitute for human headcount. But get this, we're not just talking about some hypothetical future either. Right now, 49% of US companies using ChatGPT report they have already replaced workers as a direct result. So this is happening today. We aren't sitting around waiting for a supercomputer to arrive. Off-the-shelf tools have already hit a level of competence where nearly half of the companies using them are successfully streamlining their workforce. Section 1. The Tool Landscape. 5 AI Systems Streamlining the Enterprise. So let's break down exactly what's driving this. We're going to look at 5 distinct tools that are pushing this job displacement forward: ChatGPT, GitHub Copilot, Sora, Workday Adaptive Planning, and HireVue. Let's see exactly which daily tasks are being handed over to these algorithms. First up, ChatGPT. It is really the engine behind this whole shift, directly resulting in reduced headcount for general enterprise tasks and nearly half of the US companies using it. It heavily threatens roles that rely on drafting, summarizing, and just general administrative communication. So, for example, instead of a whole team of junior copywriters or administrative assistants drafting daily email newsletters and typing up meeting notes, a single manager can just prompt ChatGPT to generate those assets instantly. It effectively wipes out the need for those entry-level workflow positions. Now, moving over to technical roles. GitHub Copilot, alongside Devin, which is an autonomous AI software engineer, are fundamentally changing the programming landscape by automating heavy coding workflows. These tools aren't just writing basic scripts anymore. They assist in debugging, and they generate complex boilerplate code completely on the fly. This is a direct threat to entry-level programming jobs and QA roles. In a real-world scenario, a senior developer using Copilot can easily knock out the workload that used to take 2 or 3 junior developers. That dramatically shrinks the size of the engineering team you need to ship a product. Over in the creative sector, things are getting wild with Sora. It threatens traditional video production and editing jobs by generating high-quality video content without a camera or a crew. We are talking about highly realistic, physics-respecting footage created entirely from text prompts. This puts stock footage creators, junior video editors, and B-roll camera crews directly in the crosshairs. A marketing agency can literally type a description of, say, an empty office cubicle or a robot arm working at a desk, and they get broadcast-quality video back in minutes. You completely bypass the need to hire a traditional production crew. Okay, let's talk business operations. Workday Adaptive Planning is stepping in to take over dashboard analytics and meeting prep, roles that used to rely heavily on human analysts. This system digests massive amounts of enterprise data to generate predictive financial models and visual dashboards, which definitely threatens business analysts and data aggregation clerks. So instead of a financial analyst spending 3 days scraping data from different departments for an executive quarterly report, this AI tool generates real-time interactive dashboards instantly. And finally, we have HireVue, which is completely shaking up human resources by handling video interviews and candidate screening. It actually uses AI to evaluate a candidate's video responses, analyzing text and speech patterns to score them against top performers. This directly impacts HR screening roles and initial interviewers. A company getting 1,000 applications can just use HireVue to automatically conduct and score those preliminary video interviews. The human HR team only ever reviews the top 10 candidates, completely eliminating the need for a huge staff of initial recruiters. Section 2. The Reality Check. Moving toward the autonomous enterprise. Because here's the thing, the true disruption isn't just about what these tools can pull off today, it's how fast they are evolving. We're transitioning from isolated tools that assist human workers into an ecosystem of autonomous agents that execute multi-step enterprise applications entirely on their own.
Right now, you open a browser, ask an AI to write some code or draft an email, and then you physically paste it where it needs to go. But by 2026, we are looking at systems that are instructed exactly once, and then they autonomously navigate multiple software programs to complete a complex objective from start to finish. Zero human intervention required. In fact, institutional research projects that roughly 40% of enterprise applications will include these autonomous AI agents by late 2026. This points to a massive shift toward integration rather than some overnight sci-fi apocalypse. And that's the crucial, balanced reality we really have to grasp here. It isn't a Terminator scenario, right? It's a rapid structural shift. The value of human workers is going to move away from executing routine tasks and shift heavily toward managing, directing, and verifying the outputs of those autonomous agents. So rather than fearing the shift, I'll leave you with this to consider for your own career. How is your specific industry going to adapt to an ecosystem driven by 40% autonomous AI agents by the end of 2026? Honestly, the most practical action you can take right now is to become the person in your office who actually knows how to operate, integrate, and strategically manage these tools. Don't try to compete with the AI on speed, because you'll lose. Compete on strategy and direction. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.